I'm Chad Douglas, continuing our Connect to Congress series with Illinois Congressman Darin LaHood of the 18th District. Congressman, now that President Trump has delayed tariffs on Chinese goods, what does that mean for us here in West Central Illinois?
Well, I'm optimistic that we can reach a trade deal with China. We need to do that. I give the president a lot of credit. I think that he's got the Chinese attention. We need to stop the Chinese from ripping us off. They've been doing that for 25 years, stealing our military technology, cyber threats, forced technology transfer, stealing our intellectual property. And now we have to change that dynamic. And I'm not a fan of tariffs, but I think in this limited way, tariffs have worked in terms of leverage, of bringing the Chinese to the table. Now we need to get a deal done because it is hurting our farmers. A long-term trade war is not good for our corn and soybean farmers, it's not good for ethanol. And so the sooner that we can get that done, the better. And so I'm cautiously optimistic that the president will get a deal with China, and that'll be good for our farmers and our manufacturers long-term, because those steel and aluminum tariffs will hurt us long-term.
You serve on the Ways and Means Committee. Recently, there was a hearing on infrastructure and the importance of passing a U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement. What does that mean for those of us in West Central Illinois?
Well, for infrastructure, we need to come together in a bipartisan way here in Congress to fund infrastructure. And so the hearing on Ways and Means talked about that. How do you pay for that? You know, the president has talked about a robust infrastructure plan, better roads, better bridges, fixing up our locks and dams on the Illinois and Mississippi River, which is vitally important to trade and to our agriculture community. And so the hearing focused on how you pay for it. There's a lot of controversy regarding that. Some people have recommended raising the gas tax. Others have talked about vehicle miles traveled provision to pay for it. Others have talked about public-private partnerships. So we're having a debate about that. I think it's a bipartisan issue. I'm supportive of finding a solution and in getting a good infrastructure bill. Secondly, as we look at the USMCA, passing that new NAFTA agreement, which is, I think, a great agreement for our farmers and for our manufacturers, is important. It will help create jobs and economic opportunities in Central and West Central Illinois. The Congress now has an opportunity to vote on that. And so we'll be working in the Ways and Means Committee to get that passed out of committee, get it to the House floor, and hopefully get it passed here in the next 90 to 120 days.
And I'd like to hear your thoughts on President Donald Trump proclaiming a national emergency in order to get Pentagon funding to build a wall at the U.S.-Mexico border.
Well, I support the president. The president's very, very frustrated. We haven't got enough money for border security. And so moving money around to put that towards the border, you know, it was just announced today 76,000 people came across the border this last month, a record amount. And you look at the suspected terrorists, the drug dealers, the amount of fentanyl that's come across our border, and the illegal immigrants. We have to secure our border. And so declaring a national emergency was not the first choice, but because Congress did not act, we had to take this route. And I'm hopeful we can get this through the court system.
And finally, what are your thoughts on the Democrats' current investigation of the president?
Well, listen, you know, the House Intelligence Committee came up and said there was no collusion between the president as it related to Russia. The Senate Intelligence Committee has done the same thing. And so I think, you know, the Democrats in the House continue to want to investigate and subpoena. And I think the American people are getting frustrated by that. You know, we have one of the best economies we've had in 25 years. There's a lot of positive things going on in our economy and this country. And I think there's a lot of people that are frustrated by that, that all they want to do is investigate instead of legislate.
Congressman Darin LaHood, we appreciate your time.